Hey, everybody, what is going on? Glad to see you guys out there. It is Wednesday, and we know what that means. It is time for another edition of Black Box Beat. Let's get right on into it. I'm Kane.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Hells. All right, everyone, let's get in this a little bit. Chat room chatter. So ultimately, the question is, what the Fitch? What the
Mhm.
Fitch? What is the Fitch there, Kang? You should have an opinion on what the Fitch.
I mean, it's just it was a little surprising to me when they were talking about possibly putting on negative watch these big, folks. Like you're talking about J.P. Morgan and some of the big dogs. Look, I mean, I just think it's we're in a rising rate environment. I don't have too much of an opinion on it. It's just negative. It's funny how the negative headlines start piling on when we start moving lower in the market, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Mario, how about you?
Kind of feels like, all right, they gave us that first round and the market was like, okay, whatever. They're like, fine, we'll come after the bigger banks. Now go down more. It's petty. Like that's how I feel. Like I feel like we're in elementary school.
No,
I'll be honest. All of these, I'm ignoring these headlines. I'm not even
yeah,
listening to them. I'm looking at them.
I pretty much agree with you. It's like, look, we all knew what some of the issues that we were facing, like when we were sitting here blitzing off the bottom, and we've known it over the last couple of months. And they continue to bombard us now that there's a little bit of blood in the water with headline after headline. So if it's not going to be one thing, it's another. The other thing that's kind of interesting, aside from all this, is how we continue to have good economic data, and they keep on selling us off
Mhm.
on every note. It's like I don't know that we have had a poor data point to go side by side with a shrinking inflation print um, at all. And yet we continue to push lower. So it begs the question when you get these headlines like Fitch, which nobody loves Fitch, nobody, not even Fitch's mama likes Fitch. It's like, so when you start getting that activity, it's like the bottom line is this: they want to take profits. They're going to take profits, however, whatever reason that they can find to do it, and that's why we have a market coming after a mediocre earnings season, not bad by any means, that continues to push lower. Look, more Fitch.
You got to get a tattoo, Hills. You got to get a
It's
tattoo at this
look,
point.
I really look. If
Do
it's
it.
not Fitch, it's somebody else. If it's not
Because
one thing, it's
Hills
another.
like saying Fitch, so
Heck
you
I
got to
yeah.
get
do.
a
I
tattoo.
do. There's a lot more I'd like to say about Fitch, but this is a family program, I'm told, so I will not um, go into that at all. Mario, do we have ERs out just yet?
We do. I've got a couple that we're going to go over. The first one is Cisco. Cisco reported Q4 adjusted EPS $1.14, consensus $1.06. Revenue 15.2 billion on a consensus of 15.05 billion. That is a beat and a beat for the reporting quarter for Cisco. Guidance, they see Q1 adjusted EPS $1.02 to $1.04 on a consensus of 99 cents. Q1 revenue 14.5 to 14.7 billion on a consensus of 14.62 billion. So straddling revenue a little bit for next quarter, but still guiding up EPS. And then for the full year, Cisco sees full year 24 adjusted EPS 401 to 408 on a consensus of 404. And we see full year 24 revenue 57 to 58.2 billion on a consensus of 56.83 billion. So actually a slight guide up on full year. So not a spectacular earnings, but it's a beat. Should be
A
okay.
beat, in a beat, in a guide, and they're down what 5% now
Are
after
they
hours
now?
after
I have
reporting.
no look.
It's like, come on, man,
That's how
come
it works. That's how it works. In this environment, it's like you report good numbers and beat, and they sell you off.
It's like that's
Right?
it. But I think and we'll get into this, I think, a little bit more when we get into Shag Mary, but it's like this is the environment. This is what we have to deal with. You got another one over there, Mario?
I do. And just really quickly, just to kind of touch base on what you just said on as far as we beat and we're down. And the opposite is happening too, right? Target, not a good earnings at all. Earnings was not good. Guidance was not good. They initially popped up a lot. And even at the open, they were still up about 5 or 6% on the day. So it's interesting to see how the market is digesting all of these numbers. Oh, and
Hmm.
see, there we go. Target stock jumps 5% as big profit beat. I thought it was a miss, but it was guidance that was lowered. That's what it was. Okay, so lowered guidance. It should not have popped up that much. and it obviously did give back throughout the day, at least a little bit. And then the second earnings we're going to cover is Wolf Speed. This one's a littler one, but it can be fun to trade. So we're going to take a look at that. Wolf reported Q4 adjusted EPS minus 42 cents on a consensus of minus 20 cents. They reported Q4 revenue 235.8 million on a consensus of 222.82 million. So that is a beat on revenue. It's a miss on EPS. And then they see Q1 adjusted EPS minus 75 to minus 60 cents on a consensus of minus 29 cents. And we see Q1 revenue 220 to 240 million on a consensus of 233.19 million. So straddling Q1 guidance there for Wolf. And what are they doing? They
Yeah,
are
they're
down
kicking
at
you in the face.
right. The only other earnings that we had was STNE, which I do like to watch that one, but I don't have numbers for them. If they pop up throughout the show, I'll cut in.
Fantastic.
But
That was a Mel Stone pick, I believe, in conversation. I think that was a Mary for her, if I remember correctly. Very much into that.
mhm.
All right, you got any thoughts on any of this, gang?
I'm just not surprised to see us coming down. I mean, there was manic behavior, and it was just last month. It was like mania, right? So I mean, you could say like, look, folks, you could say AI at any of those earnings calls or any time in the market, and the mess would be going up like crazy. I mean, so I'm not surprised to see any of this. We needed this little bit of a pullback here, and this isn't really even a major pullback. I mean, this has been pretty well organized and moving to the downside. I mean, we just broke today the 50-day moving average and closed below it for the first time in God knows how long. But we've got rising. The 10-year has been gangbusters to the upside. We're over 4.2. So that's technically a high. I think it was like a 15-month high, like I saw today. And we've also had the dollar rising. So again, not surprised to see you've got those issues in China that's causing the dollar to rise. So not surprising to see this downside in the market.
I think that's part of it, but the dollar is also rising on the back of good data. That's part of the reason why
That
the
too.
dollar
That
is
too.
moving up. And so we've seen in many scenarios where the market and the dollar can rise together. It's not a zero sum game with the two of those. So it's like
Not
when you
always. Not always.
right. So I think my point is as long as data continues to hold, it's like, punishing the market with a dollar becomes a little bit disingenuous, as does a lot of other things. But like you said, King, one thing has nothing to do with the other. We had a nice run up. We are fading back here a little bit. Some are being punished more than other. Tesla down, what, 20%, just over 20% after beat guide up. It's like, come on. That's some a headline today as far as Texas forcing manufacturers to use Tesla technology. Again, it's one of those things that it's like, okay, but you're going to sell that. It's like in
Tesla
any other
cutting, but
environment, that
but
thing was
the bigger news on Tesla is they're cutting margins.
Oh yeah,
the what?
that's true.
That's the bigger number. That's the bigger thing. That's the
They're
reason
cutting
why Tesla
margins.
is because they continue or they're cutting the prices. They continue, which is going to put pressure on their margins. So that's the bigger that's the bigger issue right there. I just saw
Right.
it. I think it was this
Well,
morning that
so I think you're
they
wrong
cut
about that.
prices in
Well, King,
China.
you're a little bit misplaced in what you're saying because they cut them before and they came out and beat. They understand the marketplace well enough to know how to move cars, something that Ford and GM do not. So everything
Well,
that they
apparently
do,
I can't read because
well,
I read this morning where
apparently you want to
they cut.
ignore their. Hang on. Apparently, you want to ignore their last earnings report when they cut several times and still beat numbers, still beat delivery, still came up on top. They know what they're doing. It's like
But
you
when
keep
they
on talking. It's
but
like
when they
it's such a.
cut the market, when they cut it goes down. So apparently I'm on the side of the market that's
What
showing
did the
that
report look like? Hang on a
because
second.
margins are not
Hey,
good.
wait, no, you can play victim if you want, but what did their
Well,
report say when they cut? What did it say? Or are you just talking to be talking? I don't
No,
understand.
this morning and recently, every time that they've cut prices on their models, they go lower.
No, they go lower. That's the market reaction. But ultimately, when they report their earnings and their numbers, they're always in line to up, like they have been. So the point is, the market is getting the idea wrong. They just have a better touch on what the marketplace is, as opposed to, oh, they cut rates. That's going to put pressure here. It's like, look, a lot of it is a game. They want Tesla lower, they're going to take it lower. They'll do whatever they need to do. But there is no other auto manufacturer doing what they're doing at the pace that they're doing it that has state regulation behind them saying Tesla, that is everybody adopting their stuff. Tesla. Anyways, we're getting off track. We shouldn't even been talking about Tesla. It's like for God. Okay. Next, what do we got? We got some Shag Mary Kill.
Yay.
Woo!
Oh,
Who do we got?
I
who's it
guess
first? Me?
yeah. I was about to say who's for cash for me. Saying I know it's boring, but I just don't see. I'm just scalping intraday.
I'm cash as well. You know, up until probably even last week or the week prior, we were seeing pockets of really nice flow with some time on it. And this week, I have not seen a single thing that says I must buy it, or that tells me that I need to put my money to work right at this second. So I'm sitting cash for the time being. We still have some earnings. We've got Nvidia next week. That's a really big one. So I think for right now, I'm good with cash. We'll scalp and day trade throughout the day, and if a good flow play comes in, we'll pick it up. But I'm not looking to get heavy into anything.
Same here.
I think we're all on the same page with this as far as being cash at this point and waiting for the right opportunity. I thought Tesla was going to give me the right opportunity at 440. I didn't pick it up. Now it's in the, or not 440, 240. Now we're down in the 220s. Didn't give me, I don't have the warm and fuzzy because I'm not seeing the flow that I want to see. It's, I think we're all in the same position looking at the same thing. It's like until we can find rhyme or reason for this downward move and pair it up against flow and pair it up against reasonable areas on the chart to go ahead and buy, we kind of have to sit and watch here a little bit. It's like we still have Jackson Hole ahead of us here in a week or so, I believe, which is going to be a very, very large moment in time for the markets. We're not going to get any type of rate conversation until September. But at the same time, it's like I honestly, because I look at flow so much, I can't put money to work to the upside to like real money that I want to put to work until I see something real and tangible. It's like, have we seen some nice little flow float into Microsoft here and there? A little bit of Meta. Have we seen tremendous flow pumping into Nvidia going into ER next week? Absolutely. Um, need a little bit more. Need a little bit more. So yeah, all cash, all the way around. We all agree. Is that weird? Should we be concerned?
Don't care.
No,
Well, I just think we all agree on don't want to catch any falling
strength
knives,
in
right?
numbers, Hal. Strength in numbers.
Yeah,
It's
there you
like
go. Don't catch the falling
I
knives.
feel like I should go against this just because y'all are with it. Like I should just dump
Contrarian, huh?
everything into something
No,
like first thing tomorrow, dump all in on something. I don't know what,
no.
like Nikola, right? Nikola could be good. They sell like
Nikola.
5 trucks.
You said 5 trucks. I've never seen one in person.
All right. So weekly rent winner. Believe it or not, Maria is at it again, hitting another home run. Maria, tell us about your home run.
So CPRI, this was actually a flow play that came in back in July 19th. We had some flow come in there. I want to say, let's see, it was over a million, maybe 1.3 million that came into this line. And CPRI is one of those tickers you just don't see flow in, right? You see it here and there. But typically, when you see flow into CPRI, it's one that you want to follow. It typically works out. It's usually nice. You'll see that there's the large bullish flow there. You'll see the breakdown of the flow, well over a million, I think close to 1.3 million total. I picked that up. And last week, you know, I woke up and, and you'll see that jump in the chart over there on the right. You see that gap up? They got TPR made an offer. So they are getting a buyout at $57 a share. I am out of the position, but that did net, I think 440 something percent. Surprisingly, and why I wanted to look at the OI is that look at the OI, those blue bars. For those that don't know, those blue bars is the that's the existing OI. So you'll see there was a slight decrease after the announcement, but they're holding on to that, which I thought was pretty interesting because most of the time you get buyout and then you see just selling, right? People want out of the position, they take their money, they're gone. But in this situation, we're seeing that they're sticking into this OI. So it was a great play. It was wonderful. It was funny because that morning I woke up super late. I did not have time to look at any news before I let the dogs out. And I jumped onto voice literally at like 8:29 my time, right? Right at market open. I jump on, everyone's like, congratulations, congratulations. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I had no idea. I had no idea. And then I'm like, oh, so I had to play it off because they're like, they were expecting me to not know or not have seen it because I keep sleeping in or whatever.
They
But I
had that
didn't tell
good
them that.
buyout news.
Yeah, it was great. So I had no idea until I actually got on the computer that morning. So it was a nice play. Again, over 400%. We don't get buyouts like this too often where you're actually in the play. In bios it happens often, but with something like a CPRI, it doesn't happen as often, even though it's been a takeover target for such a long time. So that is my weekly winner.
Woohoo!
Yeah, no, that's outstanding trade, Mario. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job. But it's like, isn't that wild? Like that flow comes in, like the black box flow is like, here, look, here's several
Yep.
$1 million into a random ticker and a random strike. What
Right.
do
Looks
you
like
want
somebody
to
knows.
do?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Great
And more
work. Great
importantly,
work.
I'm really happy. Like, what I'm really, really happy about is that members actually took this play a lot more than I expected. Actually, did take this one. Oftentimes, when it's I don't want to say lesser known, but let's say a lesser traded ticker, a lot of the members don't like to follow. But this one, there was actually quite a few that followed this play and made a lot of really, really good money on it. So I'm really proud of
Woo.
everyone.
Yeah, no. Once again, great work in identifying it. Great work in nailing it. Really, really good job. All right. So I think now we're on to viewer questions. Viewers have questions. We're here to answer said questions. First question is BPS, what are options? Who wants to go first? We look at them every day.
Options are a derivative.
Uh,
All right. Options are a
yeah.
derivative. They give you the right to do something, or they give you an obligation. There's no really easy way to answer that other than to say it is a contract between two people. It is a derivative based on something. So in our situation, these options are derivatives of each ticker, and as the ticker goes up or down, the value of the option goes up or down. So again, it's a lot more involved, and we even if we had an hour long show, we would not have enough time to go over or give you an adequate answer. What I will say though is that I'm assuming you're a member. Check out the education calendar. There's classes. There's an intro class. There are also recordings available on the website. Check those out because you'll get a good, solid answer.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think you did.
I look.
Gang, what you got, man?
I was just gonna say I look at them like car insurance. It's like you have if you're a big guy or gal up on the street, you have a big portfolio. You're looking to put hedges on. The way I look at it is kind of like that. So pretty much just you pay a small premium and and relative to the amount of shares that you would control. And it's kind of like you can put on a nice hedge or to hedge you from up and downside. What I love about options, I think we all agree on this, is that we can make money whether something goes up or down. So you're not limited to just one direction like you would be on regular common shares. But I definitely agree with Maria. Definitely on those like the structure and everything. But yeah, we could be talking about that for a long time. That'd be a whole show.
Yeah, yeah. The only other thing I'm okay. Well, Sooner has a question. Maybe we'll get back to that one. Sooner asks a question: how long will the common people have to suffer before the Fed implements change? Kang?
The beatings will continue until morale improves. So basically, they're
Look, I'm
not
gonna just
gonna
do this. Hold on. Let's just ask the
yeah,
Magic Eight.
like well, they're not gonna relent until you see it. Look, it's a blunt instrument. Again, we could talk about a whole show here as far as raising rates, but they have the dual mandate. The full employment, we're there. We're at like multi-decade lows on unemployment. Unemployment's like 3.5%. So we could easily go up to like 4.5% and still be at historical lows. But we're still seeing the consumer hang in there. We're still seeing this last bit of inflation is still somewhat sticky. So and gas has started to go back up. So they're going to hang in there until they get close to their target.
Maria, what you got?
What Kang said. I
What
don't have
Kang
an
said.
answer for you. I have no
Woo.
All
idea.
right. Look, I think there's a
How long
number of.
will the common people have to suffer before the Fed implements changes? I don't think the common people are really too much of a factor. I think they have to do what they have to do regardless of how it's going to. not to say they're not going to take that into consideration, taking into consideration how it affects the overall people, but is suffering really going to stop? I don't think so. I think that no matter what happens, there's going to be some people out there,
Mm-hmm.
probably a lot, that are not feeling too happy about it.
So
Mm-hmm.
there you have it, Sooner. The bottom line is nobody cares about you. The Fed doesn't care about you. Mario barely cares about you. And
I
Kang wants
do.
you to continue to suffer until you enjoy it. So that's really to summarize our answers here. But look, I think the bottom line is this: the Fed created a massive mess. Their way of fixing it is to put pain on the common people. That's their way of fixing it. Okay. Once they're done fixing it, we'll be done. It's like, look, it's one of the most heartbreaking and frustrating things in the entire world when you see an entity that basically targets and penalizes and punishes the most vulnerable. And that's what the Fed has chosen to do on this cycle. And if we're honest and we look out through history, the Fed has chosen to punish and to hurt and wound the most vulnerable more than any other class of people within this country. So hey, it's a fixed game. Take your whooping and smile while they're doing it. Enjoy it. That's
Blame
that's what
Congress has a lot of blame on this too, because they're the fiscal side who spends money with reckless abandon. I actually feel sorry for the Fed. I think the Fed is kind of put in a really tough spot right here because they're trying to clean up the mess. When you understand the relationship there between monetary and fiscal policy, you'll understand why the Fed is doing what they're supposed to be doing. But you
hang on a
know,
second. But you have
it's
to be.
putting people. It's hold on. It's putting people out of work and hitting people over the head and raising interest rates and all that stuff. Is it hurtful? Yes. I think we all agree that it is. But the worst thing that you can do is let inflation run rampant. And you talk about affecting the most vulnerable, like 3, 5, 6, 7% inflation. We're like what 4? We're down in the fours now. Thank goodness. But that is like a tax, and all the things that we pay for, it makes people pay a whole lot more of their pay. Like, so it's really a tax on everybody. And there's a lot more pain right now that are being suffered by people who are paying inflation
Hang on a second.
than there
Go
is,
back to Eder. I'm getting my words in.
than the
He's
other.
just continuing to go here. It's like a couple of things. Did Congress say inflation was transitory, or was that the Fed when they sat
No, the
there on their hands?
Congress
No,
says a lot of
hang on a
stupid stuff.
second. You're going to make a point and try to say something, and you're going to try to shift blame. Ultimately, they're the ones
I'm
that are
not shifting blame.
responsible for the
They
outcome.
go hand in hand.
Okay, they're responsible for the outcome. They were wrong about it being transitory. Dead wrong. They were wrong by sitting on their hands waiting to raise rates. Wrong about that also. And you want to be
Yeah, they
like,
were
"Don't
wrong
worry,
there.
Fed.
Both
I got
sides
a
are
hug
wrong.
for you."
But it's you got to look at monetary and fiscal
All right,
policy.
here we go.
You
This
can't look
sets
at
up the
just
next
one
question
side.
really, really well. What is hell's blood pressure when Jay Powell is speaking? Who asked that question? Who did that?
Prevails.
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 I
I'm
know, hey,
willing to say
Prevail.
it's through the roof.
Let me ask you this specifically. You just saw us talking about Powell in the Fed just now. What do you think my blood pressure is working at over here?
Yeah, you see that vein,
You
like
just saw
there's
it
a vein
live.
that be
It's like
popping
one of
out.
those big Roman candles. Woo, really
Yeah.
bad.
Oh man, look, I'll be honest with you, Prevail. I don't like it when I hear people carrying water for people that are inflicting pain on the majority of citizens in this country. So yeah, no, my blood pressure will rise when I see that happening, and it's happening yet again.
Yeah, I feel
Okay,
that
you
way
want
when
to
you
close this
don't
out?
talk about the common relationship between monetary and fiscal
All
policy.
right. So, well, obviously you don't because you just made the mistake. Don't try to last word it.
Well, you got to
Everybody,
read
it
it.
was a
You got to read
wonderful
up on it,
show.
brother.
Thank you so
Read up
much for
on it.
joining us. I hear music. Do y'all hear music? I think that's music. Let's take us
Yep.
home. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Stay
Bye,
green.
y'all.
Reality hurts. Read up there, Hills. See you later next week.
You think you're sneaky, don't you?
Reality hurts.
You think you're sneaky.